All right, cool. Hello, welcome to the sixth Survivor Syracuse recap show. I'm Sabrina. I'm always here, but we've got two guests today. So we have Mel and Casey. If you guys want to introduce yourselves real quick.
Hi. Who wants it? Mel, do you want to go? Do you want to go
You go
first?
first. Go first.
Oh, okay. Hi. I'm Casey. What should we say? I recently graduated. Not actually recently. I think it's been like 8 months now. Can I say I was involved? I don't know what I'm allowed to say. What am I allowed to say?
Involved in the club.
I was involved. Yes, I was involved. Super excited to be here tonight. I miss everyone. I'm like sad. I'm like weirdly nostalgic. I was watching like this past episode and I was like, oh, Hall of Languages or like, oh, New House. So yeah, I'm excited to be here and see you guys.
Oh, hey yo, I'm Mel. Hello. I feel the exact same way as Cassie. Cassie. Oh my god, I was just watching the episode, so I'm thinking of Cassie. Of Casey because I also graduated in May. It's been quite a few months. Also involved with Survivor. Was there since the beginning with Luke. But yeah, excited to be here.
Amazing. Amazing. Well, we miss you guys, and I'm so happy you both could come here tonight. So, I guess as we are live now, I guess let's get into it. So, we go into this episode knowing that they're about to swap, of course, with some silly little CBS Survivor features. So we've got the Let's Do Three, we've got War Dog, we've got Lolly, we've got Miss Kelly Wentworth. So I guess first off, what do you guys think about that being the way that they swapped? I mean,
I thought that it was insane because I wasn't like as involved in season 4 and it's happening, so I actually didn't know that that was going to happen until I think a week before. And Luke just like texted me the little video, and I was like, "What do you? What?" I was like, "This is fake. Like this is not." And he was like, "No, like I did this," and I was like the fact that us as a club like were able to actually incorporate people from legit like CBS Survivor was like insane.
yeah.
Yeah, no, and like I also had no idea that that even happened. But like when they were all like all three of them were reading the names, I was like, oh my god, like she said Jake's name, and I was like freaking out. And I also have like a girl, like I'm not like one of those like crazy Survivor, like as a like other people are, but like I have a huge girl crush on Kelly. So when she came up, I was like I think Abby was tweaking, and I was like, I feel that Abby, like I would also be tweaking.
Yeah. Oh my god. Yeah. It was. I knew we had a connection to War Dog, but I had no idea that we were gonna pop off like that.
Yeah.
Hey.
I miss you. Oh my god.
Yeah, no, it was shocking. It was crazy. I knew that something was going on that day. I knew we had War Dog. I didn't realize that we had the three of them.
Exactly.
So it
Yeah.
was super, super cool. Like that was the way that happened. But with that, the way that the teams were drafted, the way they drafted the teams gave some really interesting splits. So we've got Team War Dog, who has all 5 hero, like all of them are heroes, all 5. We have Lolly, which is a nice 3-2 split, heroes having 3, villains having 2, and then Wentworth having a 4-1 split with villains having the majority, and of course Eli as our sole hero.
Yeah.
So what can you guys see coming out of a split like that? I mean, that's kind of insane how that's how it works.
It's actually insane. Eli, I just feel so bad for the guy. Like he's in quarantine, which already sucks. It already puts him at a disadvantage. And they're like, yeah, like also you have no allies. Or not no allies, but no fellow people from his tribe. I felt so bad for him. Like and his vlogs were so depressing. I was like, oh.
Yeah. Yeah. I also like I didn't even know. I was like, where is Eli? Like, why would he miss this? And then all of a sudden it's like him in the Sheridan, and I was like, oh yeah, he's in quarantine. But that really was insane. Like, and I don't know if this is even relevant, but did they just do that randomly? They were like, here are a bunch of names, because like the way that worked out was so wild.
Yeah, just like it was like pretty random. So
Yeah, how
yeah.
do we have like knowledge of how they like did they have like a little background about each person to draft them? Like,
Yeah, they saw like I think a little snippet for like the e-board that they like sent us. So they got to draft in that way.
so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was so jealous, honestly. I was like,
Oh,
oh,
me
I was
too.
low-key jealous too. I was
Me
like,
too.
I want them to like see how I play and like I think it's just also such a cool, I don't know. I eventually want to apply for Survivor, so I was just like, that's a dope thing on the resume.
I was gonna say this is a good resume booster.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's good. I think you'd be on it.
I agree.
Yeah. It's a goal of mine. I definitely want to go. Maybe in 2 years. I don't know.
For sure. For sure. Okay, so we have this split, and of course, we have Greed as our challenge, inspired by, oh, I wanna say it's
Is it
Survivor
is it Michigan?
Michigan? I wanna say Michigan,
I've seen the episode, but I
but I
forget.
think it's Michigan.
Yeah.
Inspired by them anyway, to the college Survivor that created it. We saw it once before, it's on season 3, where we saw Owen grab it, and here we have it again. After this intense swap, we see everyone kind of panicking, whatever, but then eventually Mitch does grab it and Lolly had to go to a vote off. So what what did you guys think about how everything played out, how everyone was acting during Greed before that?
I thought there was the amount of chaos that ensued, and like even afterward too. Like I was kind of like, in the beginning I was like, oh, okay, like I remember Cam was saying that she was texting who was like Cass, and so she was texting someone
Yeah.
else, and there was just so much more that was going on that I was kind of like, oh, this is gonna be like either not a no-brainer, but like I didn't really think that there was gonna be that much drama. And then the amount of chaos that occurred, like after, especially with War Dogs, like tribe, like between Derek and everybody in Austin, I was like, this was way. It was such good entertainment, if anything. Just the amount of things that happened.
It really was. And I was trying to like put myself in their shoes, like, okay, if I was playing, like what would I do? And I understand why there was so much drama and chaos because literally there's just so many layers to it, and that's why Greed is such a great challenge. But yeah, I mean, I respect Mitch for taking it. I think it was a good move for him. I don't know. A lot of people, obviously, it pisses off people, but they're all pissed because they wish they did that. They're like,
Yeah.
it's like envy rather than like anything else, you know. So I respected that.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. I feel like I don't know. Just like looking at how everything was split and the way that it all played out, I feel like it was almost inevitable that like Lolly was gonna go.
Yeah.
Unless Eli was there. I think
It
if
just
That's what I
sucks.
was gonna say. Yeah.
It just sucks like for Eli so bad because like it would have been a no-brainer. Like the second the challenge started, he would have sprinted for it. Like it it's such bad luck after Eli.
It really kind of was like one of those moments in this season, especially that this kind of like the fact that he wasn't there really changed the course of this season, because it wasn't like, oh, like maybe this could have happened. I think the whole episode would have been different, and then I think the rest of the season would have been completely different had he been there.
100%. 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel bad.
I felt that I just can't believe he was in quarantine during like this specific challenge, but I mean, so it goes, I mean, it's a brutal game.
Yeah, it sucks like doing it in COVID in that way. Like, it sucks to be in masks and like XYZ, but that like having to like possibly be away from the game and be isolated like that, it's just
definitely. And I think also the challenge too itself, like if it maybe I was thinking like had it been a physical challenge, like maybe him not being there, like I don't know to what capacity, like or a specific physical challenge, but this challenge specifically, the fact that he wasn't there, I think that like his presence was definitely, it affected everybody, or his, the fact that he wasn't there affected everybody in their decision making.
100%. 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. But good on Mitch.
Yeah.
It's okay. I'm always rooting for Mitch, so I was hyped.
Of course.
But also always rooting for Eli. So sad, but I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, it's tough. There are just so many people to stand. It's
I know.
annoying.
I just was really heartbroken.
Fun.
I was heartbroken in season 2 when they went back to back right before the merge. So I was rooting for both of them specifically because I remember being so sad during that. And then this. But yeah.
Oh man. But yeah, so greed happens. Lolly's going vote off, and we see all of the events that happen on these teams transpire before we go to the first swap, tribal council. So we see War Dog after they got out of greed, all safe, all sound, whatever. Some people are happy that it's all heroes, but as Derek said, this was one of his biggest nightmares in this game, to have all heroes on one team. So let's talk about that. How is this a bad situation?
I completely agree with Derek. If I was him, I would feel the same way. I think the best scenario is for you to be in the majority. I think I would almost argue that being in the minority is better than your whole tribe being one thing. I think because then you at least have like one default person next to you to pin it on. Like say it's like me and Casey on the one side. At least I could pin it on Casey, like go for her over me. But when you're all in the same tribe, I think it's really down to like the nitty gritty, and especially because everyone wanted to play together. Like you weren't ready to like break off into your individual game yet. Like it's almost already merged. I don't know.
Yeah, because also I think it made it worse because when I was watching everyone's little confessional, like I had to keep track of being like, Derek was like, I'm worried about, I think it's going to be me and Austin, but then Austin's like, I'm worried about Holly, but then Holly, like everyone was so paranoid, and I think it was because they were all heroes that like everyone was panicked and was like, that's when like tensions kind of rose and it just got really chaotic.
Yeah. And they weren't in like the merge mindset yet.
Oh, sorry?
No, I just said they weren't in the merge mindset yet. They weren't ready to be like, for myself.
Yeah, I mean, they've only been to like, what, 2 vote-offs at this point? Like, I don't know. The paranoia is real.
Well, also, because everyone was saying too, they're like thinking about, it might have been Derek, I don't remember who it was, but was a lot of, and Kat was talking about a lot of like past like experiences and like borderline PTSD that they had, and they were like, I don't want to do this. And like even like we'll talk about like Carl and everything on later, but like everyone was talking about, well, like last time I played, or like this happened last time. So I think that also made it a lot worse.
Yeah,
in a way.
And this season is so hard for people to trust people because they've seen everyone's highs and lows or whatever. Like it's nearly impossible to go through a season without lying. So they've seen everyone's capability to backstab and capability to lie. So it's hard to, I guess, trust people like that. But yes, it's a rough situation for them. I think it is, at least.
It is. Yeah, I mean, everyone on that team like is trying to like build those relationships, kind of prepare for the worst, We see Kat feeling good with like Austin and Derek. We see Holly feeling good on the team. Derek says he feels like he's on the outs, but Austin says he thinks Derek's in a good position, which would be a reason to potentially vote Derek out if they ever did have to vote someone out. So what's your guys' opinion on like, their assessments of who could be the biggest threat on this War Dog team?
I feel like if I was there, I would target Austin. And I think it was, who said it? I think Cam said that she was like, I don't think it's logical to just be like, oh, this person won before. Like, just get them out. But to me, that's a huge threat. When Lydia got out first boot, like I respected that, even though it wasn't just because she won before. But I feel like Austin felt a little bit better than I would have felt if I was him. But
yeah. And I think, I don't know who was saying this, I can't remember now, but someone was saying too, like, they can see Derek more as a threat down the line, which I thought
Holly, maybe.
Holly, yeah. Which was super interesting because I was like, it was just an interesting perspective because I don't think everyone else was thinking that far down the line, because Holly was saying, I guess, that Derek was super likable and then therefore a threat. So I just thought that was like kind of an interesting, the way everyone's mindset was at like, because some people were thinking just next time, the next challenge, like the next time that, they go to tribal, but like Holly was already thinking,
And that folds back into the fact that this dynamic of this team in the swap being all heroes, that Holly's doing this, like, a million steps ahead thinking, which might be necessary at this point because it is like they're in a little mini merge where like everyone's for themselves, and she's having that like down the line like merge type thinking, which I think it's a testament to Holly being a good player, because she is right. Derek is very social. He did well in his previous season, and the fact that he's so nervous about this being a tribe situation shows that he's thinking that way too. I think that's smart to have him on her radar.
Yeah, I feel like at this point, and of course, I feel like in Survivor in general, like if you're feeling super comfortable, that's probably not the best thing.
I was gonna say.
But like it's interesting to see how fast, like even though, like I guess they're like on a team with like all of like their allies, whatever. How it went from 0 to 100, big thinking like that. But it's necessary. So we'll see how it plays out. And
Definitely.
so I guess to segue over to Team Wentworth, we've got a lot to cover tonight. So I'm going to try to keep this moving a little bit. But over on Wentworth, we see Eli, the only hero on this team, worried about being voted out the same way he was voted out in season 2. Just like not like he has Abby and Jack from season 2, but it's like they haven't really been like working together. Like, I mean, like now everything's like kind of happening. So
yeah.
Does it seem like Eli has like any room to like wiggle around on this team? Like, is there a door that could potentially open?
I feel like no, but also I think this team was super interesting because just like with Jake too, and then Jake and Jack interacting together, like I think maybe he could have had it maybe been someone different, like maybe if like Owen was with him on the same tribe, like maybe they could have schemed or done something, but I think just it was such like a perfect group of like just the way that their vibes and their energies played off of each other. It was like the perfect amount of like, I keep using the word chaos and I need to stop using that, but it's hard to explain, but I feel like because Jake is there, there's enough like paranoia that limits the amount of wiggle room, and people have to be more careful and watch their back and really think about who their alliances are. I guess if that made any sense at all. Which I don't think it does.
No, it does. And I think my analysis is also that there's really not much wiggle room for him either, because his one way would have been, gaining the alliance with Abby and Jack. But it's so like Abby is sort of, I think, this thing standing in his way because she's just telling Jack what he's saying about his distrust for him. And that distrust between them two is really what's slamming the door for him, and in my opinion, because Abby she just tells Jack everything. So Eli thinks he's fooling Jack a little bit, but he knows too much. So
yeah, all roads lead back to Jack Lavalvo.
I really enjoy his vlogs. I think he's been making good content. Yeah,
totally.
Yeah, I've been enjoying watching him.
And Abby making vlogs while doing makeup, like the unproblematic queen that she is. I'm so here for it.
She's like, I just,
like,
nuts. The tea.
Yeah, she's like contouring and she's like, yeah, so like I don't really know. Like I'm so here for it.
Yeah. Yeah, but yeah, Eli, I hate to see it, but his saving grace would have been greed, and he fucking
Mhm.
becomes that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
essentially. I don't know. Any other thoughts about Wentworth before we move on to um, Team Lolly?
Nah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Right. Fair enough. Fair enough. So let's move on. We've got a vote off coming up for Team Lolly. So at first, going in with a 3-2 split seems pretty chill as we see Carl opening up this little segment. Blah blah blah. Everyone's talking. Everyone's nice. Whatever. The vote seems like probably gonna go on Hannah. Blah blah blah. Whatever. And then all of a sudden, well, not all of a sudden, but we see the gears working in Carl's head. Because as we've seen, he's talked about how he doesn't want to play just like a heroes versus villains game. He wants to kind of switch it up. And so he declares that he wants to flip, which, as Owen said, is music to his ears in their little bestie duo. Um, so Owen and Carl have kind of had like this relationship that's carried over from season 3. Everyone seems to know that something is up. Um, but when in this situation, like, do you think Carl should have maybe taken people noticing this relationship more into consideration before making this big of a move?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think like in the grand scheme of things, like I mean, yeah, it was like the wrong timing. Like I think honestly, he was just a little bit too far ahead of the game with his decision making. Like maybe this had been a good idea like 3 tribal councils from now or 4. Like later on. It was just the wrong timing. He kind of jumped the gun on that one.
Yeah, I agree. I think, you know, I agree with the whole like it shouldn't just be original tribe lines like through and through, blend it a little, work with other people. And maybe he got really excited to like play the game because, we got like real people from Survivor here, like, oh, you want to show them what you got? Like, I don't know. But I think it was too much, too soon. And that mixed with the fact that he's a part of this like duo with Owen, and that's already a target on his back. Like,
Yeah.
he shouldn't have felt comfortable enough to be like splurging or whatever you want to say, like to like telling everybody what he was up to. Like the whole thing of being like, oh, so I have 2 options, and like obviously one of them is like the person he's talking to is one of the options. Like, I would never show my cards like that, especially when you're not in a favorable position.
Yeah, and especially when there's 15 people still playing. Like this to me was when it would be like maybe 7 people are still left or 6. Like because like he almost, and not to cut you off or Mel what you were saying, but like it was like he was sensing, like I did agree, and I kind of respected in a way that he was kind of like, I don't want to be like stuck with the hero tribe, because there was already issues. There was always distrust between people in the hero tribe, but he just did it too soon. And the fact that he was like making all these plans with Owen, like it would have been so good, but why would you already make it so that there's 2 of you when there's like, 13 other people?
I completely agree. I think if Owen went through that little like, oh fuck, because Eli saw us like hanging out, like people sort of know we're like close, whatever. In my mind, my damage would have been like, okay, we're playing down this alliance, like we're playing down the 2 of us being so close. Like, yeah, we work together, like we have an existing relationship, but it's like not crazy. But they just went like, this is my ride or die, like I won't write his name down. Like, and I'm like, in my opinion, that's very like opposite what I would have done. Like, because you're just hammering down like this known relationship. You never want to show your cards of like what your absolute relationships are ever. So I thought that was interesting. I respect him wanting to play an interesting game versus his last time, but I think he might have gotten a little too excited to do it too quickly.
I think he definitely had the right idea, and I definitely see wanting to kind of break up the heroes now, just because if it went down to 5 villains like he was talking about, like, it's really hard to break that up at that point. But I think for the move that he wanted to make, I think he should have been the one to have grabbed the greed. And at least, like, if you're going to make a move like
Mhm.
that, like, at least ensure you're
Exactly.
Yeah.
He didn't have the leverage. He didn't have the security to be like throwing people's name, like the swap, like I mean, like, whatever, backstabbing Cassie and everything. He didn't have the security. If he had the greed,
Mhm.
sure. And I get what you're saying with the timing. That it is tough to keep waiting. I think I would have waited one more week, but
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah. Hannah also says it would have worked had Mitch and I not been so close. We do see their relationship start to pop up in this episode.
Mhm.
So I think that was definitely something that might have been overlooked when strategizing for this week, or just like not noticed at all or whatever, because we see Mitch and Hannah are talking, we see Cass get into the mix, um, especially once it's kind of it's been learned that Carl wants to vote Cassidy out. Um, so then we see Cass saying, "Why not vote out Carl?" Like if we're gonna be playing this game. And I think it's really interesting seeing Cass kind of in this position because this is the first time that she's been separated from Holly since pre-swap of season 3.
Very true.
Mhm.
I think it's really cool to start to watch her kind of blossom in her game.
Yeah, it's dope to see her be like, okay, someone's targeting me. Okay, period. I'm
Mhm.
writing right back, and to see it pull like her pull it off and it work out, and yeah,
Yeah, I agree with that. Like, she really, like, handled the situation so like, she really grabbed it by the reins and was like, "You know what? No, like, this is what's gonna happen," and I was, like, so here for it.
Yeah. Here
absolutely.
for it we stan. Um,
Mhm.
yeah, but I don't know, it was just a crazy week leading up to it. All of a sudden, we're getting up to this vote off. We have Carl and Owen voting Cass, and we have Cass and Mitch voting for Carl. And we see Hannah right in the middle having to make this decision on who to vote out. So she kind of is seeing like everyone's cards, has like the ability to send someone home or keep
Mhm.
someone, all of that. And ultimately, we do see her decide to stick with Mitch and Cass and vote out Carl, leaving Owen kind of on his own. So after that, and interestingly enough, we were able to immediately see how this unfolded in the next episode since it was a double feature.
Yeah,
Mhm.
But do we think Hannah decided correctly?
I hmm. I feel like it was smart to break up the duo of Carl and Owen,
Mhm.
but also seeing how Mitch goes next. I don't know.
That's yeah.
Mhm.
I agree with that because but now I'm definitely worried for her for the next episode just because I know, like, her and Mitch were buddies, and now that she's down that one person, like, definitely puts her in a bad position. Um,
Hmm.
yeah, but I mean, I don't think she made the wrong decision. I don't know. It was hard because I just feel like it would have put her in a bad position regardless almost.
Mm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I. Mm, I'm trying to imagine what would happen if like Cassie went. So then it'd be her. I don't know. I don't know what would have happened. What do you think, guys? Think the next vote would have been like, say they went to tribal again, but it was like Cassie had gone home.
So it's like Owen, Carl, Mitch, and Hannah.
Mm-hmm.
It would have been interesting, definitely, because Owen
Mm.
and Carl, it's like who
They're
would have
unbreakable.
gotten yeah. So it's kind of like who would they be able
It
to
would be good
convince?
luck.
Yeah.
That's why it's like tough. I don't. I no. I no. I'm sticking by that. That was the right decision for Hannah because I think that it wasn't like dead set or like obvious that like Owen would choose Mitch as like the person to send. And also the fact that he like got an idol and like all that. I don't know. we have the foresight or the hindsight now, but
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah, that's tea. Well, y'all have seen him before, in Mind, Body, Soul. Y'all saw him get voted out on Team Lolly. And now you're going to see him here on the Survivor Syracuse recap show. We have Carl coming to the stream.
Carl!
Oh, thank you for that wonderful intro. It's so nice to be here.
Thanks. It was ad-lib? I don't know what the word is. It was improv.
It was great.
Thanks. Well, Carl, what's up? How are you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm at peace after the first time when we started playing season 4. We hadn't even seen season 3. So now that both have aired, I'm a little more at peace with everything, and yeah, excited to talk.
Yeah.
Yay. Oh my God, so fun. So I guess, yeah, you said you've now seen the episode. So I guess compared to the way that you went out season 3, how did it, I guess, like feel to be voted out now?
It was definitely different. It was a lot different watching it back, I would say, because the first one we watched it back and I was like, well, I know what happens here. And this one I really didn't. I mean, I knew bits and pieces, but I think first and foremost, just props to Hannah. I think she made a really good move. I sort of at the end tried to pull things back around, but as you all have kind of mentioned, I had a little bit of tunnel vision this week. I got a little antsy. The heroes never going to tribal didn't help, and I was just like so ready to make a move. So like looking back, there's definitely like little things maybe I would have done differently, but I was so excited to play at that point. Especially after the first season, my goodness, because at the first season I also wanted to do stuff. Like the most I got to do was vote out Adam. I needed more excitement. Yeah. So this seemed good. Should have just taken that damn greed idol. Oh well.
2020 hindsight.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have a question. So did you like have this idea in your head to flip? Well, I guess like the traps I've had right before, but like, were you thinking, okay, I'm gonna flip before greed happened, or
I knew that there was a chance of it. I knew that if the numbers were like they were in this, if it was like a 3-2, I thought it was likely. I was actually hoping I had Jake because I knew people sort of knew I was tied to Owen, so I thought that Jake would be the easiest person for me to flip to, just considering the relationship we had started building. And I knew he was a gamer, right? Like I wanted people who I thought would be game players, and that's actually part of why I thought Hannah would like definitely go for it, right? I didn't think. I kind of didn't see the backside of it, which is you're a gamer, you're going to be thinking of other things that you can do to get out of this. But with that, I was absolutely going into the swap. Like, if I have the numbers, I want to break first. The other reason, too, was I wanted to take the first shot. So by the time we got to emerge, all the heroes were like, there was going to be other beef, I guess was kind of the point. Was like, if people are pissed at me, they're going to be pissed at me. But I was like, look, there's a tribe of all heroes. Like, somebody's going to get mad. So I just kind of wanted to break everything up first.
And
I did that successfully. Yeah. Not in the way I exactly wanted to, but I definitely shook things up.
Hey, I mean, you definitely did it.
Yeah.
Very, very successful, at least in that respect.
You did the thing. Anyway.
Yeah. I mean, respect. It was a bold move, and you know what? I respect it. It was just like, unfortunately, didn't work out.
Yeah.
But the pieces were almost all there.
Yes.
I thought it would have been a super, super cool move anyway. Like, I think the idea was definitely there for sure. And especially watching the thought process leading up to this vote, I think.
Sure.
This all just sounds like A for effort. Like
Yeah. No, that's not how I feel about it too, though. I'm like, you know what? You tried.
It's funny too, like how my mindset when I was watching it, like I was kind of like, okay, Carl, and I was like, okay, this is, and then you like, you know, got voted out, and I was like, no, like what? Like it's so like hindsight that I'm like, oh God, but like I was like, oh, okay, spicy.
Yeah, and like you took a risk, you know, you got to risk it, I respect taking risk you know, and I think it wasn't a bad move overall.
This isn't in the episode, but I got called the next day. I didn't wake up until like, I don't know, tribals at night. I probably woke up like afternoon. It was a weekend. My God. And I had like 3 or 4 missed calls because Austin had heard about the plan through Holly. Like I kind of, you can see I'm getting a little bit antsy as the vote comes. But basically, like I knew that it had sort of gotten leaked out the other way. And so I was mad scrambling. So I kind of knew it could happen by the time I got there. But I think the biggest thing out of this week, the biggest mistake, honestly, was I just didn't trust Mitch as much as I should have. Like I love Mitch. I love him to death. But I think it was so easy and comfortable for me to just be like, Owen's my guy, because I've played with him before. And so, like, there's a lot less of that doubting, like, oh, will Mitch get mad that I'm flipping on the heroes? Mind you, probably not in hindsight. But, like, at that point, I had spent weeks cultivating heroes first. Like, I had spent weeks being like, we're all in this together. Just planning to crack it, mind you. But that was my game. So that made it hard for me to communicate with Mitch during this week. And I think that was definitely a problem, too. I think if I had talked to Mitch, it makes it a lot less likely that Hannah can just turn to him and go,
speaking of Mitch, really quickly, just so we can get him before he goes to his intramural game, since we won't do that later.
Mitch!
Hey, what's going on, everyone?
Just recapping, you know, the vibes.
Carl, that was hard to hear because I feel the same way, man. If we could have just talked. Tough week.
Look at that haircut.
The haircut.
Crazy. Wow, look at this little hangout, this little sesh. So fun to have you guys here together. Mitch, I'm glad that we could catch you before your game. What sport?
I'm going to play intramural soccer, and I believe actually Eli will be there.
Cool.
Ooh,
Squad
what
up.
sports doesn't he play? Mitch, I feel like you're like the most athletic guy. You're always doing all the sports.
Definitely, soccer, Quidditch, bowling, whatever it is. Throw it at me.
Word. Now that we've got the two of you in here, I don't know. Tell us the tea of the week from your perspectives.
Of Carl's week?
Yes.
I think from my end, the problem was that Carl, he seemed a little too excited already. I feel like you and I started getting fairly close, and I was really excited to work with you. And I think you may have tipped your hand a little too early that week about, a flip. And then as the Hannah also pretty much told me everything that her and Owen talked about that week. So it was fairly easy to see what was happening on our tribe of 5 for me personally. And, I think if you had come to me directly, we could have worked something out. But being kept in the dark, like obviously I don't want to be having moves made against myself. Had to flip it back up. I wanted Owen, but Hannah really pushed hard not to get Owen out. And I think that also may have been a mistake.
Yeah, that's
just because I went the next week.
Because that is interesting too, because I am probably more like I have a little less of the vengeful side than Owen does probably. Because I probably would have come back around and played. But that also just goes to what you said. Like we didn't talk that week. So from my side, I wanted to keep the move really tight and compact, and I didn't want any heroes really to know about it until it happened. And so I was really worried about that. I was worried that like once I started to pull the move, and I think I just underestimated one, how much everyone else was playing. I mean, whether it was you, Mitch, whether it was Cass, who was awesome this week. Like, I think it was really easy to get lulled by the heroes into being like, oh, everybody's kind of playing, but not really. Because from my side, it was like, I got so into my own head and into like, you know, being the main character of this week in my own head. And look, we all know how main character moments go. Okay, like
Fair.
Main character moments are what make a show a show. I mean,
True.
come on, let's give narrative, guys. You guys gave narrative 100%.
Yeah. It is tough though, like you were saying though, to tell when people like snap on to like their higher level gameplay and like how hard everyone else is going at like this middle type of stage in the game. So yeah.
Yeah. It's an interesting stage, I'd say, because I feel like it's your making point or your breaking point, I guess. I don't know. So it goes in the game of Survivor. I don't know. What are your guys's? Let's do some like fun stuff. What are your guys's fondest moments playing Survivor? I don't know. From either season or whatever. I don't know.
I think there's like a lot of fond moments of Survivor. I will say that the second time around was so much more fun than my first time playing. And definitely it was because of people like Carl and just the whole cast. You know, it was intense, but I feel like it was better than my first time around in some regards.
Nice.
Yeah, I would agree that a lot of it's just the people. I mean, the moments there's good moments in the game, but so many of them are just like the things we did, you know, outside the game, or even like, you know, it'll say in a vlog like, "Oh, I hung out with Mitch today," but we sat around and watched the Muppet Show and played FIFA for 3 hours, and like that stuff is much more memorable. Meeting really awesome people, so that was, you know, in the game. That was after the game. That stretches now like we started playing a year ago or something like that, which is crazy. Like the fact that this season started a year ago, and I'm still incredibly close to so many people from the season. So that's definitely the best part.
That's so wholesome, guys. Oh my god, guys. Yeah, I mean that's what I feel like it's all about. It's all about the people you meet, the relationships you make. Game's fun and all. The game's the game. Memories last forever.
I think
I
another fun memory, like the best memory I think of the season though, was that swap day. Like that after swap, the effects of it were not that fun, but watching that video and seeing the 3 captains choosing all of us, like that had to have been one of the coolest things like ever.
Yeah, that was wild.
They knew who we were, and they were able to connect with Luke and the production team, and it was nothing I think any of us expected. It was awesome.
For those of you who are curious about the video that they are referring to, the director's original cut of Luke's swap video is on our channel now.
An extended edition.
Huh?
The extended edition.
The extended edition. If anyone wants to put themselves in the moment that they found out getting swapped by the Lessee 3.
That is one thing you don't quite get in the episode, I will say. That video was so long. And it was great, and it was super hype. But we were sitting in there, and we got there a little earlier, and they gave us snacks. But it was so long, like that moment, that video, and like it was and we had waited like 3 days from the last challenge to even go, or from the tribal to go to a challenge. So it was just like it was absurd. Like the production value was off the charts the whole time.
Yeah, that day, Luke had production. He had us walk everyone to a seat in the auditorium that we were filming in, like a movie theater. It was super formal. Obviously, it was a pretty. I mean, I think it was for a feature film. Obviously, that's the only way to do it. But the energy was just It's crazy. But yeah, I mean, just a super cool experience, I think, for sure, to have been a part of. And I'm happy that you guys were able to be a part of that. I apologize. That might have been me getting an email.
Oh, good.
Well, do we have any other questions from here in the live stream or here in the chat? Any? Anything you guys want to talk about? No words when there are so many? Damn. Well, oh, we have a Hannah Dolan question right here. Would you guys play again?
Ooh.
I mean, I wish I wasn't graduated. It'd be great.
Yeah.
Fair.
Yeah, I think I'm done playing Syrvivor Syracuse for now.
At least Syrvivor Syracuse. No promises on
At
the
least
other.
Syrvivor Syracuse.
It
Exactly.
was so funny, like watching you guys, because everyone in every single vlog, someone would be like, I haven't done my homework in 4 days, or like I can actually go to sleep tonight. And I was like, is everyone okay? Like, this is getting a lot. It was so funny. I was like, oh God.
Would you guys ever play in the real Survivor?
Yeah, I would play. I don't know how well I would survive, but I feel like the game part is okay at. I'm, you know.
I would definitely play. I think I would struggle with food, but I think other than that, I would be great.
I think Mitch could survive much better than me in the wilderness, though.
I can see Mitch
He's
surviving
tough.
that.
I could definitely like rise to that challenge, I think.
Yeah.
Fair.
Fun.
We're just
But
gonna do
Casey, no, we're not all like healthy during the season. Like, I'm just gonna say that. Like, I watched the episode back where you did the little Oreo feature, and I looked like a crazy person. Like, my eyes were kind of like bulging, and I was like I'm not sure that I was okay at that point in time. But
Yeah, I was
like looking back, I just feel like I had a lot of fun. So
yeah.
You guys always say it is shared trauma.
yeah. That's fair. We're just gonna do one last question just because we have a little bit more content to get to. So one more Hannah question. Do you guys identify more as heroes or villains? What do you feel inside?
It's a good question.
I think personally, I feel like I'm more of a hero. You know, I think I can have some villain tendencies, but like I could never outright be a villain. I don't think. I think it would always be hero first, and then I can do some snaky backstabbing things. But again, in terms of like the Carl vote, it's only because I knew Carl was turning on the heroes. I don't think I would have been the one to do that flip initially, at least not by myself.
It's funny because I think I like play the hero game better, but I really want to be a villain, right? Like I identify like my true heart of hearts. Like it's like that's where I want to be. It's not good for me, but I think that's where my true passion lies with the villain.
You were led to the dark side.
I mean, is anyone a hero in Survivor? Like a true hero?
Yeah, no, like it's a game about lying. Like I'd rather be on the side of lying. That just seems like a winning bet.
Casey, you exude such hero energy.
I can't tell if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
No, it's a good thing. I could never. But
I agree with Carl though. I think if I would like also want to be, or whoever, maybe it was Mitch who said it, like I would want the villain tendencies. But it's also like everyone I think has their own concept of like what a hero is and what a villain is, because some people are like, I'm just trying to play like, my own game, or I'm trying to think out for myself, which like some people would think is a villain, but You could be kind of I don't know. It's an interesting concept.
Yeah. And heroes can still lie and be heroes, like
True.
you're saying. Like it's impossible to like never lie.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Sometimes lying's necessary in the game. I mean,
100%.
yeah, like it'll come at one point where you have to, but that doesn't make you any less of a hero.
Agreed.
You know, because you're still doing what you think is right. I don't know. I mean, no matter what, if you're hero, villain, you just play the game for what you think is most right for your game. And that's the beauty of it.
Wise words.
Thanks. Well, I'm sorry to cut this short, but we do have a double episode to go over. But thank you guys so much for joining us on the show. It was so lovely having you both. I'm sure. I don't even know where I'm going with this. Great things are gonna happen. I don't know. But yeah, it's super fun. And yeah, thank you guys. We'll see you guys later. I don't know.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
guys.
Bye. That was fun.
Already.
Super fun. Well, we do have to get back into this last little bit of the episode. Starting off, we've got all these reactions of Carl going home from the heroes. They're all like absolutely floored, shocked. Kat's concerned that it was so easy for Carl to flip. So what does that mean for the rest of the heroes? We've got Austin concerned because Carl is his number one. His parting wish, Carl's parting wish to Austin was to reach out to Owen, which we will talk about soon. But we've got a lot of thoughts going on from the hero. So I guess if you were a hero seeing this happen, what would be running through your mind?
If I was on the tribe with all heroes, I would be like, really, I don't know. I guess it's troubling to see that people have already turned against each other. But I don't know where my thoughts are going with this.
Yeah, I know. I kind of agree because it's also like I guess I don't have like a good answer because some people I'm like I feel like they're feeling pretty good, whereas others like it's no longer like, oh, as we're there's a big majority of us as heroes who like feel pretty good right now. I think everyone is like a little bit stressed, but it's like there's a spectrum to that of like now people who think that maybe they're safe. And some people are like, oh, I'm so like it's gonna be my name up there. And like no one has mentioned their name, no one has brought their name up. So it's like everyone's kind of on their own, which is interesting, especially at this point in the game, I guess.
Yeah,
it's still pretty early. I mean, there's like a lot that can happen like in a short amount of time. So yeah,
I just had a thought of like that happening and like Carl going home. If I was on that tribe, like with all the heroes, I would, or team with all the heroes, I would sort of feel relieved that like someone already flipped, because then I'd be like, okay, like I feel less obligated to like owe everyone on the team anything. Like it's sort of like some of the bets are off, and like you don't have to like hide behind this like fake fantasy of like we're all you know.
That is true. Yeah.
Less guilt involved, I would say.
Yeah.
I think there's almost like also this kind of feeling or sense that like even though we were talking about it with Carl, like saying that he was like a little too early on it, I feel like a lot of people are kind of like this game to me, for me at least, like watching this has been really fast, and like how people are thinking in regards to like the way that they're going to play. Like people are already talking about like they're kind of not over alliances, but like some people are making alliances, but also like thinking about themselves and thinking about like the future in the game. Like everyone I feel like is like 2 steps ahead of what it would have been like normally had people just this is their first time playing ever.
Yes, the returner is well seasoned.
Yes. They're like, we know what's up.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I mean, all this shock is happening. Meanwhile, they have to hop right into this silly little balloon popping challenge.
I love that.
Of course,
Me,
the
yeah.
Schaefer art building arena.
Love that.
So I don't know, what were your guys' thoughts about the challenge? I mean, it seemed pretty fun. I personally got over the fear of the sound of balloons popping being present. So
That would be a struggle to compete in that challenge if you have that fear.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. For sure.
Was it Cass? It was kind of hard because I was trying to watch and I kept losing people's faces and like
Same.
also masks. But like, was Cass the one that was the last of her tribe to be up there? Who was
I thought
wearing
it was
the
Gab.
Oh, was that Gabby? Who was wearing the
Or
gray?
purple.
For the second round, for the last round, Cass was the last one for Lolly. And
Okay.
then Hannah was the last one for Lolly in the first round.
Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah, I was just like, I think I've been impressed with Cass this episode a lot. And like, not that she's like a weak player by any means in challenges, but I guess there was this like me being like, oh my God, she's gonna like, she's not messing around. And I feel like she was really going hard in this challenge. And I was like, you know, it's not like she doesn't go hard normally, but like, I wonder if this was kind of like her being like, I need to freaking win this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
I think this whole episode in general is a big like cast moment. And it's like content that I think we're all deprived of in her previous season. Where we wanted
Yeah.
to see her like really come and like do her thing. So
Mhm.
Yeah, the character growth. We're here for
Yes, we love that character development.
Yes.
Yes, for sure. But yeah, I mean, it was a crazy challenge. I feel like there was a lot going on, lots of balloons being popped, lots of noise outside and inside. Outside, we've got the balloons popping. The inside, we've got the frenzy that is Survivor. But of course, we see Lolly lose their second challenge in a row, have to go right back to vote someone else off. And that's tough, you know? I mean, they just came off of a vote off, and just to know that they have to go back, that is rough. And only 4 people, like,
I know.
ouch.
Down bad. Down bad.
Yeah. I felt bad for them. I was like, damn, double whammy. God. But happens to the best of us.
It does, but you know, we grow. We try to do our best. Obviously, they all did their best, you know. But yeah, I mean, let's get into what happened after the balloon popping challenge. So because War Dog came in first, they got a clue to an idol, a new idol. So the search for this idol's on. We all agreed to not look the first night, whatever, like nice little agreement. But we see Kat go off into the night.
Into the night.
Trying not to find a leaf idol like season 1, as we saw. No leaves found, but I thought it was fun watching her just like kind of play by her own rules there. Just that little snippet.
Yeah.
The sound editing too was a 10 out of 10 on her little mission, because when she went, I was like, oh my God, what is she? And then and I was like, oh my God. So it was sending me. I loved it.
Yeah.
Yay.
It was great to see her be a little sneaky sneak. Love that.
Yeah, she literally goes, so we decided we're not gonna go look for the idol. So I think we're gonna go look for the idol. And I was like, so here for it.
I would do the same thing, like if I were her, like and I had the opportunity. Yeah.
Yeah.
Who's gonna know? Who's
and
gonna
braving
know?
the Syracuse weather. God bless her soul.
Oh yeah.
On a Friday.
That's
dedication.
On a Friday night, that might be my only deterrent. Like I'd be like, busy.
Like time for me to go back. Yeah. So good for her though.
Yeah. For real. But yeah, I mean, a lot of stuff I feel like happened around this idol clue. As we see, tensions start to rise a little bit over here on War Dog when it's leaked that Austin gave Owen the idol clue. So a few people are kind of spooked. We see Derek getting spooked. We see Holly getting spooked. Now it almost seems like everyone's got the clue. So how has this knowledge kind of like caused a frenzy? Like what is going on in these people's minds?
Holly was especially upset.
Yeah.
That was
I don't think it was smart of him to tell, like, to give the clue to Owen, or yeah. I feel like that was just like, did you really have to? I don't know.
Yeah. It definitely was a lot, but now I'm just like thinking about how this is going to affect maybe Holly and people like Derek. Like, are they going to be super irrational now? And is that going to cause, because they're panicked because people are making these like rash decisions, is that going to cause them to do something maybe that like could spook everyone else because they're spooked?
Yeah, and Derek is already like in his own head about everything. So this isn't helping.
Which can cost you in the game.
Yeah, but it also is putting a bigger target on Austin, because it's like, okay, well, you're in cahoots. Like, you are teaming up with the villain. Like, you seem like the most ready to like flip and like make your like connections elsewhere. So I don't know. I think it's interesting move out of Austin. And it wasn't that Carl's parting thing, like, talking to Owen. So I feel like maybe Carl, like, you know, his last words affecting gameplay with Austin deciding to tell Owen.
It's like his dying wish. It's like, go talk to Owen.
His last breath.
As he's leaving, as he's putting out the candle or the flame.
Yeah.
Talk to Owen.
Essentially. Yeah, Carl's flame lives through Austin and Owen, I guess.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think I don't know. I feel like with that, it could have gone two different ways. So I think it could have been fine, like, or I think it's like fine that he gave him the clue, but I think it definitely needed to be kept a lot more low key. Like, I don't know exactly how, like, the technicalities about how it all leaked, but like, it could have definitely, I think it could have been good for Austin in the aspect of like starting to form those villain connections, because I think we saw Eli talk about at some point in the episode, like, it's important to have connections on both sides because like you don't know what's gonna happen, you know. So I think in that aspect it's good. But when you're on a team of all heroes, I think it could definitely be very dangerous if they could find out, which they did find out.
Yeah. I think it's one of those things where it's like, okay, good on you for thinking ahead to be like, okay, I need connections to villains, but it's also like, it doesn't matter if your later gameplay is going to be good if you can't get past right now. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
Fair enough. Yeah, I mean, we see Derek questioning, like what's gonna happen to the heroes now? Like, people are starting to like go off and do their own thing. Like, what does that mean? Like, all this stuff. So we see heroes kind of slowly start to break apart. So I guess let's try our best to put our minds together and answer Derek's question. What does this mean for the heroes?
I think it's a rat race. Like, who can scramble to find their bearings elsewhere first, and like, or rather not who's first, but just don't be last. You know.
Yeah. I think it's gonna be a lot of frantic, like, and it's also like everyone's so paranoid anyway. Though it's kind of like, who's gonna be able? Because I think Holly was especially shook. So it's just kind of like, who are people gonna be able to trust? And like, even just with like, I think across the board too. Like, even I think it was Jack was like, I think Eli's shady. Like, everyone is like, I need to make alliances, but I don't trust this person, and I think they're shady, and they could be backstabbing me. And I'm like, oh God, this is why everyone's not doing their homework.
You just need to trust someone just enough to like have them do what you need them to do. You don't need to fully trust someone.
Like, take it week by week.
Yeah,
like,
trust them to like do this vote, or like not tell someone one thing. You know.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I guess let's get more into some of the juiciness still leading up to the second Molly tribal. But on Team Wentworth, we see Jake get a text that Jack is considering giving his idol to Owen, which is like blowing everyone away.
Yeah,
like, that could be a big move. Yeah, I mean, we could definitely see the hesitancy in Jack, considering he like has given idols away in past seasons, as we saw in season 2. So I feel like some of that kind of fear is there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, we see Jake pushing for it. We eventually see Abby pushing for it. So,
Mhm.
uh,
Mhm.
I guess what do you guys make out of that? Like,
Well,
yeah.
it's dope to see that, even though Owen, going off the last vote, he's obviously in the worst position. He's the only person who voted wrong, besides obviously Carl, who's gone. You know, and it's good to see that he has people rooting for him and protecting him elsewhere, even
Mhm.
though his tribe is a bad position for him. So that was good.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah. Also, Jake's vlogs are also absolutely
Yeah.
incredible.
And when he was like,
Yes, I was
I
like,
was like, yes. So
love it,
Snake,
love it.
he's
goddamn
like, Snake
Neighbor.
Neighbor, don't forget the name.
Yeah, I'm getting that tattooed. I'm getting that's my next tattoo
He's
on
gonna
my
get a
arm.
tattooed on his chest. Snake Neighbor.
Don't forget
Asterisk,
it.
don't forget the name.
Yeah.
Yeah. The name we did not forget. For
That's
sure not forgotten. But yeah, I mean, Hannah said it pretty well here. Give him
Give
it.
him an inch. Just think of
she's not wrong. She's not wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we see all of this happening, so now we're just left thinking going into seeing what's happening in Lolly. Like, is Jack going to give this idol to Owen?
Do you think it's a smart move of him to do that?
Um, I think in the aspect, if you're thinking of the ratio of heroes to villains, because if you lose another villain at this point of the game, it could be really scary
Yeah.
because you'd only have 5 left.
Yeah.
And you don't know how long the swap period's going to be. So at this point, it's worth at least trying to keep some numbers. So I guess if I was in Jack's position, I would give Owen the idol.
Yeah, and I also think like it's still so risky at this point, but given the nature of everything that's been going on, like I don't think it's inconceivable that someone would maybe flop or like you could start making like it's kind of beyond a heroes versus villains at this point. Like I feel like people may be like jumping ship or like on the cusp of maybe being like we should, work this something else out that's beyond
Yeah.
heroes versus villains.
Yeah.
So I
I
don't think it was crazy. Yeah.
yeah, I hate to see like a whole like season play out of just, original tribe lines and it never fully stays that way,
Mhm.
but as we saw this episode. But yeah, I think it definitely makes sense to keep the villain numbers, and with that also going into the week after and with these little cracks forming in the heroes is sort of looking good for the villains. Yeah.
Yeah, for
Y'all
real.
building up.
Yeah. I mean, we see these cracks just developing. It's
Yeah.
getting to Lolly.
It's gonna burst soon.
Also-
That's what I think.
Going to explode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, can we talk about Jack's vlog just being like Hannah thinks Mitch and her are so close, but like she really just plays the game so emotionally, and like the people like he likes her less than like she even thinks. I was like, savage vlog, okay?
I know. I was waiting to bring that up because it came up like Jake said it too. He was like, Hannah's an emotional player. But
True. I mean, she cried. Can we go over that vlog too?
yeah.
Trigger warning emotional.
Trigger warning emotional and then drinks a beer. I was like, that's a mood. Sips beer.
I felt that.
I
Yeah.
love the little thing that said trigger warning emotional or whatever. So good.
Yeah. But like also like I don't know. I wonder how this is. I mean, we can probably get to that in a bit. Sorry, not to like.
Sorry, maybe I
No,
jumped.
you're fine. I mean, we're already getting into it, kind of. Like, we are on Lolly, so.
Yeah. I'm curious how, because a part of me was like, it's scary for Hannah because now Owen has these like hidden buddies or like is now making alliances. Like he's not like it looked on paper could have looked bad, but I think Hannah is like it doesn't, it's not a good place for Hannah to be in either. So it's just kind of interesting. And I also don't know if Cass is completely out of the woods yet, but I was kind of thinking maybe. I mean, no one's really out of the woods in Survivor, but I don't know. It's just interesting.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of back to the emotional part of it. I think it is important to play Survivor with, like, I think it's definitely important to have some emotion with whatever you're doing. Because I mean, of course you could be like a Survivor robot or anything, but also it's just like whatever playing style works for you. Um, I get like for Hannah, I guess it works more to play more emotionally. I mean, so far as we've seen, it's been working. She's still here.
Her name hasn't been on the, has it?
Hannah,
Like kind
sort
of
of.
lingering.
But no one has like physically, well, sorry, written her name.
I don't
Or did
think.
I can't
I'm trying to
remember.
think. I don't think so. Like I don't think.
Yeah. Sorry, not to interrupt, but I was just thinking, like,
No, you're fine.
I agree with
Yeah.
like her name is being mentioned, but no one's actually doing anything about it.
She also, I'm just thinking, like, she had the crying vlog today, and she had the infamous crying vlog in her first season. I remember that. So I feel like she has more notable, like, I think I think people have just the same emotions, but like she just expresses them more outwardly. I don't know. I don't think it's like.
Mhm.
I think people are gassing it up. Like, of course, Jack is gonna like gas it up and be like, "She's so emotional," like blah blah. Because I feel like he tries to front that like robotic essence, like to push the villain narrative. Even though I think you can still be a villain and be emotional, like I feel like Owen with like the vengefulness and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. I mean, and I mean, we saw it. Like there's a lot of tension, there's a lot of vengeance, there's just a lot of going on. Cass is just sick of the way Owen's playing the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, her
Yes.
little blurb, she was like, "I'm just sick of the way you're playing." I was like, she has a bite now. I love it. So
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, for sure. But yeah, like a lot going on. She's sick of Owen's gameplay. Hannah's conflicted between her survivor bestie Mitch and Owen, who is a fellow villain. Everything just keeps bubbling up throughout the week. We get to the vote off, and um, Owen ultimately gets Jack's idol and idles Mitch out. So
hate to see it.
yeah.
Yeah. That was so sad.
So
Yeah.
sad.
It was a sad moment, but definitely entertaining, I would say. Love a good idol play, especially when it works like that, I guess. Very thrilling, but now we have 3 members of the Lolly team. And yeah, I mean, we see that there's going to be this like dissolve situation in the next time on. So, Lolly said that I was gonna go to exile, Cass is going to War Dog, and Hannah's going to, oh my god, Wentworth. So them being dissolved, how is this going to affect them and I guess like the bridges that they've either formed, mended, and broken with each other?
Yeah, Owen going to exile is like, that I feel like that's just not ideal, not ideal for him. But yeah, I don't know. My brain is like trying to process.
Yeah. It's, yeah. I just can't get over like how everything, because I think everyone is just genuinely taken aback. Like I think this definitely flipped everything upside down because you know you have Hannah who thought that Mitch was like just kind of like lost her alliance, her go-to person in this, but then there's a lot of like information that's spreading around, so like I feel like everyone has to kind of reevaluate at this point who they can really genuinely trust. and kind of maybe where they stand, because I think there's a lot of speculation going on. This is a very roundabout way to answer your question. I just think it's like this episode was definitely just a lot, and there was a lot of different theories that were going along. So it's like hard to make like, I don't know, a definitive answer because it's just so hard to figure out.
Yeah, I feel like we're at a point where it's really up in the air, and which is great because possibility, nothing's predictable.
Good content for sure.
Yeah, definitely good content. Also, I think the editing was really good this episode. In terms of like plot, like in like it's like the back and forth, like editing the conversation between like how like the three different people talking, like conversation was like the similar, like it was good, very good.
Dope. Before we head out, we're just gonna do a couple quick superlatives.
Ooh.
So let's talk about MVP. Who is the MVP of this episode? I feel like there are a few different possibilities.
MVP.
I'm kind of wanted, like, the first thing that came to mind was Cass, only because I'm just like,
too, but
it was only because I was just like really here for this like new person, or this like new person that she was kind of in this episode. But
I also think that like it could be Jack because he like saved Owen.
That is true.
Mm-hmm.
That's very
which is
true.
like huge for the villains.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with Jack.
All right.
I give it to Jack. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. A part of me is like, what? I obviously couldn't give it to Carl because I know he got voted out. But a part of me is like, good for you for trying, and good for you for like wanting to create all this tea.
But also like Owen really like he had two tough tribals and he evaded both. So maybe
I think mine are definitely between Owen and Jack.
Okay.
What do you think, Sab?
I don't know. I think like I could definitely see Jack because I think that idol play was huge for the villains. And I think it was definitely cool seeing Cass kind of start to come out of her shell. So yeah, I'd say I'm like pretty on the same page as you guys. I like to think. But yeah, all right, so MVP. Now, I hate the way that it's like phrased, but like LVP, least valuable player. I don't think anyone's like ever the least, but like I guess like who flopped a little. I don't know.
Besides the two that obviously got voted out.
Yeah. True.
Who flopped?
I don't necessarily think she flopped, but I think Hannah's name was definitely thrown around a lot. So I'm not saying she flopped. I just think it's like concerning. It's nerve-wracking for her, I guess. The fact that her name was used a lot.
Yeah, I was gonna say Hannah, but then I knew like she was in like a very like deciding position.
That's true.
So that like sort of is like power, So I was like, I don't know.
And she did, yeah. She
mentioned. And this is like hypocritical of like what I was saying before about MVP, but in a way, at the same time, like Owen sort of like he evaded. I sort of was gonna give him MVP for like doing the best with like the flop he had, and, like getting through and like not getting voted out, but like he lost Carl. He voted wrong and lost Carl. He did get saved by the idol, but like besides that, he had like no other thing going. Like it was either like he was at the will of somebody else, giving him an idol, and now he's going to exile. So
that's true.
Flop energy.
The energy.
The flop. I wouldn't also say like she didn't flop by any means, but it's just like I felt for Holly because she quite literally was like very stressed out, and I feel like she maybe has a lot of work to do. So I feel like flopped isn't the word, but like someone who is maybe needs to really is at a disadvantage at this point, maybe.
Yeah, maybe I'll give Austin a flop for the idol share, the idol clue share getting out.
That's true, yeah.
Because I was trying to, like, it's hard to attribute that tribe, like big moment of this week because like they didn't vote anyone out, but
Fair enough. Fair enough. And then just for our last superlative, just to end on a fun, silly note, who had like the best character moment? Who had like the best line? Whatever.
Jake Never.
Yeah. Word.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll give maybe Jake, but also Jack.
His vlogs are so
I just
good
love
this
his
episode.
savage vlog.
Austin.
Okay, fine, whatever, Austin. But yeah, I just loved his savage vlog about Hannah. Like he was like, people don't like her as much as she thinks.
Oh God.
That's so mean.
Such villains.
That's what I'm saying. He's so villain. He's like so apathetic. Like I don't care.
Everyone's gotta calm down.
Or also Abby putting on makeup. That was like
my
favorite
yeah.
thing.
There was a lot of good moments this episode.
Yeah, I liked it.
Spicy vlogs, and that's also something to attest to like returning players. They know how to vlog and like make content.
Yeah, for real. They give us narrative. I mean,
narrative.
What more could you ever want? I think I have a few different favorite moments, I guess, / lines. I thought balloon popping was such a fun challenge.
Yeah.
For sure. I thought it was so entertaining to watch. I don't know, lots of shoes lost, lots of balloons popped. But yeah, entertaining. Of course, we have Snake always coming in with his lines. And
don't forget.
But yeah, I mean, off the top of my head, I don't know. Yeah, it's just good episode. What can I say? These people give content. So
solid.
Nice work. Like it.
Dope. So I guess we'll start to wrap up. So I'll give you each a little second to say your little piece. So Casey, I'll go with you first.
Wait, what? What do I have to say?
like a little sign off. Like say whatever you want.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I was not prepared for this. Thank you for having me. This was so fun. It really post grad life, like this was like my highlight of my week. I miss everybody. Looking forward to next episode. Wishing everyone luck and hope everyone's staying warm in Syracuse. And I had a lot of fun tonight. Miss everyone. Love you guys.
Oh. Wait, sorry, I'm still trying to figure this out. Yeah, okay. I'm still getting used to streamer. Bear with me. All right, Mel, your turn.
Okay, well, yeah, I mean, also post grad life, it's so great to, stay connected with the Syrvivor community. As former VP, it's very nice to see the club still thriving and, the editing's getting better and better and like the narrative, the content hype. But yeah, yeah, I mean, I just moved to New York. If any Survivor people in New York, hit me up. Yeah, but yeah.
Sweet. Y'all heard it here. We've got a little New York compound forming.
Yes, I'm here.
Not rival I would say in alliance with the LA compound.
Oh my god.
Never LA compound.
No, there really are like two. There are two. It's the West Coast and the East Coast happening. Luke and I are literally like a couple stops on the L away from each other. So.
Oh, that's so cute.
If anyone's ever in New York, hit the Survivor line.
Always hit the line. I'll say my quick piece. Thank you everyone for coming to watch tonight, for watching the episodes. We've got another great episode premiering tomorrow at our new premiere time, which is 8:00 Eastern Standard Time. But yeah, I mean the episodes just keep getting juicier, and I don't know, everyone stay up because we've got a fun little challenge as said in the next time on the question is, are you up? But yeah.
Wow.
All right.
Ooh.
So the three of us are signing off. Thank you again, and watch Survivor Syracuse, Heroes versus Villains. All right.
Yeah.
And